We need more politicians like Boris Johnson, and we need Jeremy Corbyn to be more like Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson has said that he thinks women who wear the burqa look like bank robbers. And to his credit, he has stood by what he said, and he's not backing down, and he is refusing to apologise. And fair enough. Freedom of speech allows him to do that, and it may have hurt a lot of people's feelings. Might have been a mean thing to say, but that is the price we pay for freedom of speech. Boris Johnson is the price you pay for freedom of speech. And fair enough. I think it's a price we should be willing to pay. He's not going to apologise. He hasn't come grovelling just because he said something horrible about a small number of Muslim women. But Jeremy Corbyn, on the other hand, when he makes a comment, as he does about the Jews, or rather, when he attends an event where someone else, a Jewish person, makes a comment about Israel, okay, when that happens, Jeremy Corbyn then has to come grovelling and apologising for attending that event. Jeremy Corbyn attended an event where a Holocaust survivor, a Jewish Auschwitz survivor, made the statement claiming that what's happening in Palestine at the moment isn't that much different to what happened to him under the Nazis. Because Jeremy Corbyn attended that event, he then comes grovelling and begging and apologising. But Boris Johnson makes disparaging statements about Muslim women. And by the way, I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. I believe he has the right to say what he says, and I don't think he should apologise. I think it's a nasty thing to say, and it's a shame that he holds those views. But if those are his views, then fair enough. But Jeremy Corbyn is forced to come grovelling and begging and apologising because he attended an event where a Jewish person made a statement. What other anti-Semitic remarks has Jeremy Corbyn made? Because we know he's an anti-Semite. We're hearing it non-stop. Jeremy Corbyn, anti-Semite. Jeremy Corbyn, anti-Semite. How? Possibly. Another story doing the rounds from 2012, a good 6 years ago, when Jeremy Corbyn failed to realise that a mural painted in London was anti-Semitic. Okay, and this was a mural by the artist Mir One that depicted a globalist conspiracy of bankers dominating the world and a lot of Illuminati symbolism. And some of the bankers depicted were Jewish. There were 3 banking families depicted. The Rothschild family, Jewish banking family. The Morgan family, Christian European banking family. And also the Rockefellers, Christian European banking family. So some bankers are Jewish. It's not anti-Semitic to acknowledge that. Some bankers are Jewish, some Jews are bankers. Not all Jews are bankers. Not all bankers are Jews, and not all Jews are bad, and not all bankers are bad. But because this mural depicted a Jewish family and some other Christian families as bankers dominating the world, which, let's face it, bankers do hold quite a powerful position in our world. Because this artist depicted a Jewish family, in that position, and because Jeremy Corbyn failed to acknowledge that it was anti-Semitic, he was then leapt on, and once again he apologised and went grovelling and said, "I'm sorry, I failed to realise that it was anti-Semitic." There are a lot of Jewish banking families. In the medieval times in Europe, Jews were forbidden from owning property. And at the same time, Christians were forbidden from lending money on interest. So the Jewish people in Europe who were forbidden from owning property had to do what they could to survive, and quite wisely, they went into banking. Until this day, still now, there are many Jewish families who are bankers. It's not racist to acknowledge that. Different ethnic groups take different paths in life. You will always find certain groups overrepresented in one line of work and others underrepresented. The figures sat round the table were also all male, all men. No one leapt up and said, "Oh, this is an anti-male propaganda mural." I dare say most bankers are men. Not all, but most bankers are men. Not all men are bankers. We know that. So it's very easy to pick on whichever aspect of a painting, of a mural, that you want to emphasise. So Jeremy Corbyn was lambasted for that. He was lambasted for sharing a platform with a Holocaust survivor who said that what Israel is doing in the Palestinian occupied territories has parallels with the oppression that he went under in the Nazi concentration camps. I'm not into the oppression Olympics. I believe that if something is wrong somewhere, it's wrong anywhere, and we shouldn't say, what about. That's a weak defence. If I'm acknowledging that there is an injustice in Palestine, at least listen to the point I'm making and don't say, "Oh yes, but what about, wasn't this worse, wasn't that worse?" When Desmond Tutu, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, made the claim, and this is a fighter who rose up against apartheid South Africa, a comrade of Nelson Mandela, Bishop Desmond Tutu, when speaking on Palestine, he said that what he went through under the racist apartheid regime in South Africa was not as bad as what is happening in Palestine under the Israeli regime. Now, no one leapt on Archbishop Desmond Tutu and called him anti-South African or somehow anti-black for saying that what's happening in Palestine is worse than what's happened in South Africa. It's just a comparison. Look, are the Israelis worse than the Nazis? Are they as bad as the Nazis? I wouldn't go around making comparisons. Wrong is wrong. But if a Jewish Holocaust survivor wants to make the comparison, then he has the right to do so. Just as Bishop Desmond Tutu, a black man who survived the apartheid regime in South Africa, has his right to assess what is happening in Palestine as compared with apartheid South Africa. These people, they have the right. But it shouldn't become a political football with which to beat Jeremy Corbyn over the head. But we can see what's happening. Boris Johnson makes disparaging remarks against Muslims, is asked to apologise and refuses. No problem. Jeremy Corbyn shares a platform with a Jewish person who makes a political statement about the so-called Jewish state, and he is slated for it, hounded for it. Corbyn is demanded to make an apology, and he does so.